Ready, steady, go. Lyrical style in my flow, yo. Yo, ready, ready. Lyrical style in my flow, yo. Ready, steady, go. Ready, steady, go. Strictly the mother. Strictly the mother. Ready, steady, go. Ready, steady, go. Strictly the mother.
Okay, welcome everyone. Great to have you. Seems like we are live and ready to dive in. As you can see, the title of today's training, today's session in Cyber Monday is the 2025 cyber market pendulum, okay? And how to turn tech layoffs into your unfair advantage. Because if you have been not living in a cave, right, you have noticed that the tech market is swinging. It's not like back in 2025, 2021 anymore. You know, back then, oh, do you have Security Plus? Okay, here's your six-figure job. Let's just get you started. Who remembers those days? Maybe some of our friends, some of the members, or some people who are interested in cybersecurity, they miss those days as well. But if you wait until the end of session, in the next half an hour, I will talk about A, what is happening right now in the marketplace, in the tech industry, in the cybersecurity industry, and B, how can you turn this into your positive unfair advantage by focusing on what matters today, okay? So that's what we're gonna cover. Great to have you guys. I see Vincent join. Hi, Vincent. Harun is here as well. So just so you know, we are broadcasting this live on YouTube and across various platforms. If you don't like your face to be seen, you can turn off your camera, but that's not what I would advise because as we always talk about in our programs, it's extremely important to network and have that front row mentality in your career. Hey, I'm here, I'm doing this, I'm ready, and here's the proof, okay? So unlike most people, how they are progressing their careers, kind of hiding in their study rooms or hiding behind the cameras or in their bedrooms. Oh, okay, I will only apply and show my skills when I'm ready, when I have my skills, when I have my hands-on skills, when I have my certifications. Have you ever felt that way? I know I've been there because I was like, oh, I'm not ready, I'm not good enough yet. So let me just hide because what if people don't like me? What if they don't appreciate my skills? But that strategy does not work. Why? Because as long as you are just one step ahead of someone else, let's say you want to help someone, you also have, I see a lot of members here. I see Rakesh joined, Dorian joined, it's been some time. Hi, Dorian. As long as you are just one step ahead, okay, of someone else, of a business, that means you can serve them, you can help them with something, right? As long as, for example, you know how to change a password on Windows or Mac systems, etc., make it more complicated, that's cybersecurity and that's experience. But the experience part is, are you ready to help someone else, help a business? Are you ready to be visible or not? That's the deal breaker. Does that make sense, my friends? And that being said, that's a different topic. But I see OC joined as well. Hi, Marshall. Great to have you. Rakesh is here as well. Fatma is here. Welcome. And we have a lot of different live stream followers as well. So that's great. And as I mentioned earlier, okay, as you have seen in today's information about what are we going to cover today, the tech layoffs and how can you turn that into your unfair advantage, okay? How can you literally understand the situation and then take action accordingly? Let me just tell you a little bit of background story, okay? If you're interested in cyber or a tech career recently started, or maybe that will be your very first job. Because as you know, in our career master programs, there are lots of seasoned professionals as well, and I know that they remember those days. Because of the economic shift, okay, because of the low interest rates and relatively more favorable economic climate up until 2020, 2021, investors, okay, and shareholders, venture capitalists, they were looking at different options to invest and then make a lot more in their return on their money, on their investment. Because of that, and the booming sector of infosec and technology fields, they have invested literally billions of dollars in those fields. And what happened was, in return, please remember, like Uber, like TikTok, obviously that's slightly more recent, but remember Snapchat days, remember lots of different technology firms left and right popping up. What happened was, because of that available cash, companies invested in their manpower significantly, a lot more than their usual. As long as someone is interested in tech, obviously, if that person has a degree, that's better. If that person has a certification, that's better. But they were more than happy to invest in those professionals, invest in those individuals. Why? Because they wanted to grow. There was not any other way available, feasible, to make more money. Okay, so that's why they invest heavily in the manpower, in the tech sector, in the cybersecurity sector. And because of that, obviously, people like were interested in technology and cybersecurity left and right. Oh my God, 6 figures. It's easy. I don't have a degree. I can make it happen as well. And that was all true. But it was true back in 2021. And let me also tell you a little bit of background story. Do you remember like Google or Microsoft or Amazon? They have those free courses to attract more people. Hey, come and let's just teach you for free. Behind the scenes, do you know why did they do that? You can type in the chat. Think about that for a second. They say, oh, we need more technology professionals. And it's kind of like a charity for us. Why? Because we want to help people. We want to help them grow their careers, right? And most people, a lot of people fell for that. But do you know what was happening behind the scenes? You can type in the chat, by the way, if you're on Zoom. Let me also take a look at YouTube and other platforms if you have any comments. What happened was, let me just tell you, they wanted to change that supply and demand equilibrium to their advantage. Because if there is a lot of demand, but if the supply is not that high, that difference, okay, was working against those big, massive firms and those investors and venture capitalists. Why? Because, hey, we need people and we are paying them a lot of money. I don't like that. So let's just change it. How can you change it? By attracting more people in the field so that if there are more people in the field, they don't have to pay them that much anymore for commodity professionals. Does that make sense, this part? They wanted to increase the workforce so that they didn't have to pay as much. That was the situation. And they were successful. They made it happen. That's why when you take a look at like big firms, big tech companies, funk companies, as we know, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google, some of them, they no longer pay as much, and there are some layoffs. And if you're listening to me right now, and if you've been wondering, hey, it's not good news. Like, if that's what's happening behind the scenes, like, how can we get the jobs? Like, how's that going to work? And maybe you might even, tell me, hey, that's not what you promised. That's not what you say. That's exactly what I say. But please listen to me, okay? Because if you are not a commodity professional, meaning if you are not trading your time with money, meaning instead of focusing on the company's values and their problems, if you're only focusing on yourself, your technical skills, your certifications, if that's you, yes, I have bad news. It is not going to work anymore. Okay, it's not working right now, and it will not work in the upcoming months and years. Of course, that begs the question, what can we do right now? What should we do right now? True or not true? How can we get the jobs? How can we grow our careers? Maybe you are like, hey, I'm already in IT. I'm already in help desk, system administration, network. I already have some marketing sales background. I see some of our members here. Like, I already have that. How should I make my change and upgrade, make my pivot? Or maybe you're like, hey, I'm very interested in cybersecurity. I want to start my tech career in this field. But if the situation is like that, and if it's difficult, how can I make it work? If you're worrying, if you have worries around that, again, I have good news. Because if you're listening to this, that means you are not a commodity professional. The good news is, if you are a value-driven professional, meaning if you are focusing on the value generation, if you are focusing on, hey, how can I help these companies to make more money? How can I provide so much value that in return, regardless of what's happening in the marketplace, they will hire me and then they will pay me even more. That's exactly what I'm going to cover, okay? So, talking about this part, after that we have completed that market reality check, because you might see people left and right still, oh, it's so easy to get a job in cybersecurity. All you need is like Security Plus or like just upgrade your skill set with like CSSP, etc. That era has gone. It's finished. Okay? Please listen to me. It doesn't work like that anymore. That's the bottom line of the story. Of course, we have covered the interest rate impact. Why? Because if venture capitalists, if investors, they have a lot of money, instead of testing or maybe kind of like, okay, let's just try a couple of $1 million here or like 10, 15, etc. Let's invest in those companies. They would rather stick to those in high interest rates because that's, more like a guaranteed way to make more money. So there were a lot of economic factors driving that change as well. Okay. But let me tell you how you can turn this into your unfair advantage. And I will explain that with the game theory. Okay. The game theory suggests that instead of targeting only the top level companies out there, which is like what most people have done so far, especially in the previous couple of years, if you focus on value generation, if you focus on maybe not so much the best companies, but the second or the third companies in your region, if you focus on direct value generation instead of pigeonholing your skill set into, oh, I'm only doing this and that's it. If you find that nice combination, it will work for you much better, especially in the AI age, because we are living in an AI world. Let me tell you a story about what happened earlier today, literally. Okay, live example. It happens to me like a lot, like almost daily. Someone texted me, someone sent me a message on LinkedIn. Okay. In fact, like, let me see if I can find it. Always, I'm not going to tell who. I'm not going to tell his name. So don't worry about it. But I want to explain how companies think and act so that you can act accordingly, so that you can support them accordingly, so that you can position yourself accordingly. Okay. So here's the message that I received earlier today. Where's that? Okay. Hey, I'm a fourth-year engineering student specializing in cybersecurity. I'm looking for an IT internship. I'm looking to start in May for a period of 3 to 4 months. It would be a pleasure to discuss about that. You see? Maybe you've done the same. I know I've done exactly that. But there's a grave mistake in that approach. There's a massive problem that unfortunately even seasoned professionals make all the time. You know what that is? That's about me mentality. You see, it's all about me, 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 me. I want my internship. I want to start in May. I want to do this. How can you help me? Here's my number. Help me. Why would I do that? Okay, why would I do that? Think about that. Most people don't think, and they approach their careers exactly the same way. They apply in a way, hey, here's my skills. Here's my background. Here's this. Here's how much I want. Here's that. So let's have a chat. I imagine, why would they care? Because please understand, my friends, what's in it for me? That's the modus operandi in today's world. What's in it for me? It's not about, they don't care about your master's degrees. They don't care about your degrees. They don't care about your Security Plus, OSCP, CSSP, CISA. They don't care about your years of experience. And they don't care about your gender. They don't care about your age. You see? Even those limited beliefs that unfortunately most people have, they don't care about that. They don't care about none of that. You know what they care about? How can you help me? How can you help me protect my systems better? How can you help me make more money? How can you help me grow my business? Talk about that. Not talk about your internship, okay? Not talk about your background. in 2025, if you want to turn everything around and want to turn your career and career growth into your unfair advantage, take advantage of that, please understand that's the first mindset. And coming back to game theory, you need to connect that approach with this new, not a mindset, it's a proven strategy. Here's how that works. Instead of targeting like big, massive companies, okay, on top, just like most people, focus on your leverage points, which is who do you know right now around you, okay, in your network, on your LinkedIn, on your phone. Just take a look at that, in your relatives, in your friends, and then go through them one by one. Most people think, oh, I don't have any cybersecurity professionals in my network. I don't know anyone. I don't have any hiring managers. It's fine. But according to research, people get those opportunities through referrals in their second degree connections, not in your first degree. But you need to, again, approach it the right way. Not like, oh, okay, I'm looking for a job. How can you help me? No. How can I help your organization? It seems like you're currently working with this hospital right now in your region. Let's say it's Dallas, Texas. Let's say it's New York City. Let's say it's Santa Monica, right? Let's say it's like Palo Alto. It doesn't matter where you are. Maybe that's London. Maybe that's Dubai. It doesn't matter where you are. Maybe that's, Madrid, or maybe Berlin in Germany. It doesn't matter. What matters is, hey, I have a list of 20 people in my network right now. Maybe they are not in tech. Maybe they are not in cybersecurity. It doesn't matter. But I'm sure they know at least 5, 10, 20 people in their network that I can send a message and offer my services and help them. Not like from me mentality, but hey, I want to help you. How can I help you? Bonus points. You can also do exactly the same by building that experience. You see, most people are struggling to find that experience. I don't have experience. Hey, start helping someone, okay? Even in their home network, update their router passwords, teach them the basics of cyber. We all know that. Does that make sense, this part? That's extremely important. But again, coming back to how can you focus on that market pendulum and turn that into your advantage? You first of all need to acknowledge what's happening. And option two, right after that, step number 2 is you focus on value generation. And that brings the question, of course, that's good. You want to generate value, but how can you generate that value? Can you just go ahead and start applying, 10, 20, 50 different companies at the same time? No. It's exactly the opposite. You need to cherry pick organizations, a couple of them in your network that you can reach, and then show what we call in Cyber Transform program unpaid outcomes projects. Okay, unpaid outcomes projects. Here's what that means. Hey, in the AI age, companies are afraid of what? Companies are afraid of competition. Companies are afraid of losing money. True or not true? Think about that. That's why what you can do easily, hey, let me show you how can you protect your systems in an automated way, for example, with AI, so that you can be a lot more productive, a lot more efficient, effective, okay, and aware of the costs, and you can operate exactly how you want it to be, how you want your systems to be. And let me just show you that. Let me show you how can you turn cybersecurity into your unfair advantage, into something positive, that instead of, oh my God, that's a lot of money, I'm paying you 6 figures, I don't want to pay you 150 grand. No, you're actually saving $500,000. Let me just prove that to you. Why? Because with the help of AI, with the help of technology, with the help of my guidance as well, I will help you and your systems to stay a lot more safer and protected. You see how the entire discussion changes. And you start with your inner network circle with referrals, so that you will have a chance that they will listen to you. If you don't do that, and most people don't never do that, you know what happens? Here's my resume, here's my cover letter, give me a job. Doesn't work. But if you say, hey, if I show you how to protect your systems at a fraction of the cost, if I show you how to create automated systems with AI, okay, so that you no longer have a lot of vulnerabilities, we manage that, we mitigate all the risks and issues, so that we create, if you're focusing on GRC, for example, so that we create your privacy policies, we create your risk registers in a lot more like efficient way so that you save a lot of money because you no longer need another 3 individuals professionals in your team. By myself, I will replace all of them. And here's the math. Many times people think, oh, we can all get hired. Let's grow together. Companies can hire just more and more. It doesn't work that way. There's competition. When you get a job, when you get the job that you want, you are aware that you're blocking maybe 100 other people, right? Sometimes people are like, oh, I don't want to compete with people. The world is about competition. But that's good. Why? Because you truly, authentically care about those companies. Other individuals, they don't care. They just want like, hey, me. I want more money. I want like better lifestyle, whatever. But you, on the other hand, you flip the coin and say, I want to help you so that I get what I want. But you first mentality. And here's the logic behind it. Let's say the company is paying right now 3 professionals $100K each, $300,000, right, per annum. That's the expense. If you show up and tell them, hey, here's how I would automate the systems. Here's how hard I would work for you. And not just I work hard, but I work smart. I will automate a lot of things. So you no longer have to employ 3 professionals. You just need to employ me. Of course, you need to pay me $150,000, but you'd be still saving another $150,000. Would you like to listen? And then they will say yes. Why do I know this? Because in cybersecurity and AI, I consult a lot of like senior level, like government officials and different multi-million, billion-dollar organizations. In 2025, the demand for cybersecurity and AI services skyrocketed. I can barely keep up with their requests. Why? Because when they pay a significant amount, okay, to my services on the back end, they would save at least 10 times more. You get the logic? You need to give first. You need to make sure that they stay profitable. In return, you can charge anything that you want. Okay, that's the mindset. And let me just wrap up this idea so that you can start and turn this into action. Okay, not like, okay, now I get the idea, I get the theory, but how can I apply this? Number one, please understand starting in 2025, everything will be different for companies as well as for you. That's number one. Number two, make sure you identify your goals in an exclusively inclusive manner. Here's what that means. Sometimes I see people, hey, I want to become like a very specific, let's say, digital forensic specialist, and I only want to work for NSA because that's cool. Okay, but NSA doesn't have an opening right now with digital forensics. That means you're decreasing your chance to 0. Instead of that, if you focus on inclusively exclusive manner, like I want to focus on defensive side of cybersecurity, like cybersecurity analyst, defensive specialism, not offensive, not GRC, not marketing sales. Choose one of those 6 categories as we always talk about. And I also want to focus on one sector, like, for example, healthcare, maybe education, maybe IT, right? Like technology companies, or maybe entertainment, retail, it doesn't matter. But choose so that you can shape your marketing accordingly. Most people do the opposite. You know what most people do? I'm a cybersecurity specialist. I focus on SOC, CM, XDR, EDR solutions. I focus on that. Like their LinkedIn title is that long and they throw in all the certifications. They say, I'm CEH, I'm Security Plus. One is defensive, one is generic, one is offensive. I'm also focused on CSSP. That's managerial. But you also mentioned OSCP. That's penetration testing. It's all confusing. So that's why focus on your niche so that you can market and sell your skills way better. Does it make sense? So that's how you stay inclusively exclusive. And then starting with your inner circle, take a look at unserved opportunities, unserved companies. Okay. Unserved means per annum, maybe they're generating between $20-30 million. That's hidden gem. Why? Most people focus on multi-billion-dollar companies. Oh, I want to get a job with NVIDIA. Okay, that's cool. But do you know anyone at NVIDIA? You don't know. It's fine. Do you know anyone who knows anyone working at NVIDIA? No. NVIDIA is totally strange for me. I'm just, applying. Just understand your chance of success drops significantly. You need to act accordingly. Number one, either you find a network with individuals who can open you some doors. Number two, you focus on what you have. That's the essence of game theory. Instead of focusing on what everybody wants, use your unfair advantage. Here's practical insights for you. Right now, right after the session, take a look at your network, your contact list, your LinkedIn, your Facebook with an open mind. Don't be like, oh, that person is not in technology or cyber. Hey, this person I know 2 years back, he attended so-and-so, she attended so-and-so, this and this college. Maybe that person, my friend, can introduce me with someone. Let me just compile a list so that I can send messages. Just like in the module, right? We always talk about in Cyber Transform, like networking scripts, and then you approach them accordingly. Okay. And then now that you have identified your goal, now that you know yourself, you know the target, you need to connect the dots, connect the dots, and that's the final step. And here's the best part, my friends. When I first started, I remember many years back, right? Many moons back, like 6-7 years back, we spent so much time on building unpaid outcomes projects, on building specific networking messages. Right now, today, you have a new thing called AI. That means you can expedite the process. And do you know how we do it and how I recommend you to do it? If you are in the Discord channel, you can get my book, right? It's like 250 pages long. It explains everything, because I sometimes receive questions like, hey, I really want to speak with you one-on-one every day for 2 hours, but guess what? Like, I don't have that much time because, times are limited. However, if you get my book, which is literally 99.5% of the skills, right, that you can get in the program, you can use that and feed it to an AI engine. I recommend Poe. You can use Poe. You can use Cloudy, Sonnet 200K. You can use ChatGPT, and then feed the system with my book, and then feed the system again with your resume, and then ask questions. Based on this approach, please create 5 different networking messages. Please create, and help me identify my niche. Okay. This way, you can apply the strategy that works, which is Cyber Transform, and make it a lot more personal. Does it make sense, this part? That's the power of AI. And number 2, you have identified the company. You have identified those specific industries. Create your cover letter, LinkedIn, create your resume, create those networking messages, everything based on who they are and what they want. You can, again, expedite it with AI, right? Of course, you need to know how to send the right prompts. We spend a lot of time. We can do a lot more in the Pro and Plus calls this week, right? Just remind me tomorrow. But that's the idea. You see how you can turn everything into your unfair advantage, because you can accomplish a lot more things. Compared to 2 years back, it would have maybe taken, 2-3 days. You can complete the same amount of work in just a few hours, maybe minutes. And then still not randomly spraying your resume. That will be one of the, unfortunate, the most, sad mistakes that I see. Oh, now that I have these tools, let me start randomly applying hundreds of jobs a day. You'll just be, another cog another wheel in the machine, right? Don't do that. Instead, hey, I'm focusing on these 10 companies only. I'm focusing on these 20 individuals only. And I'm keeping in touch with them all the time. I'm providing value all the time. That's why I know I will get ahead in this game. Does that make sense, my friends? This is how you win in 2025. So if you're worried about finances, if you're worried about companies are not hiring, companies will not hire random individuals that they don't know what they're doing, that they don't care about the company. They just randomly spare their resumes and then get the jobs that they want. It just doesn't work that way. And we've been talking about this for a very long time. Like David, one of the success stories from many years back. Let me just wrap up with his example. Why? Because he was making a move from web front-end management development, not like development, but from administration role, to cybersecurity, right? And most people told David to, hey, just get a job and just get a certification like CEH or this or that, whatever, and then apply randomly. But instead, what he has done successfully, that's what worked for him, was, hey, what kind of companies I want to work at? Okay, these companies. But do I know anyone in those organizations? I don't know. But maybe I know someone who knows someone in those organizations. And that's how he has identified an opportunity. Someone. And that person opened up the doors for him at BP, right? And then what's really funny is that he had the informational interview first. Like he got a taste and the sense of how that would feel when he got the job there. He shook hands, he introduced himself, and then by the end of that very informal chat, the hiring manager, back then that was not the hiring manager, he was like the line manager, right? And he told him, hey, you know what? We like you, we really want to give you this opportunity. However, we need to stick to our HR rules. That's why we will open a position tomorrow, one day only, just to comply with the HR policies. Make sure that you send in your application. We will hire you anyway. We have made the decision, but we just need to follow the rules. Can you imagine if you don't know this on that day, you see hundreds of other individuals applying for that role, hoping they would get a response back. The decision has been already made. The reason why I explained this is that we will see a lot more of these examples in 2025. You simply cannot wait on the sidelines, hoping just because you have some skills, just because you have certifications, it will be enough for you. For most people, okay, they are not aware of this, they are not applying this strategy. That's why you might see on Google, Facebook, left and right, companies are not hiring. As long as there is world and economy, companies will continue to hire. Okay, they will hire, fewer and fewer professionals. Make sure that you'll be one of them. And this is how you can be one of them. Does it make sense, my friends? Now, is it clear how you can turn this into your unfair advantage? Please make sure of that. And Dimitri says, sorry, I've been on since, but I guess the link was bad. Probably Dimitri, sorry to hear that. Make sure that, my friends, visit cybertransform.com/live, because we are broadcasting these sessions live, not on Zoom only, but YouTube and Instagram and Facebook as well. And that's it. That's it. This is what we decided to cover today. And make sure, my friends, because I see new faces, new names here. I see Chazelle is here. I see Olegas is here, Gerard, and Charles Osar, and many others. Make sure, if you haven't signed up already, if you haven't joined Discord already, please join the chat, because we have amazing members, very active, like Vincent, Fatma is here, Dorian, Rakesh, and Alina. Great to see you. Make sure that you tune in tomorrow as well, because we will cover a lot deeper in what we have discussed into practical terms. How you can do this in practical way, so that let's make sure in 2025 you take your career skyrocket to the next level. Because with AI, with all these opportunities, you can turn this into your unfair advantage. That's better for you, but you need to approach it the right way. Does that make sense, my friends? Many thanks for joining live today. As we are wrapping up the session, thanks for taking the time, and I will see you very, very soon. Have a great, fantastic day ahead. Bye-bye. Take care.